Hey, what's up, Cancer? Welcome back to another Timeless General Tarot reading. It's been a couple of weeks now, I think it's been a month or two, since I've done a read. I wasn't really feeling it. The energy kind of dissipated. But I continued doing reads in my personal capacity, and I wound up kind of getting back into the groove now. And I'm happy I did because I actually like the way doing these readings makes me feel. So if you're inclined to support this, make sure that you leave a comment, like the video, share it, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you're really feeling inclined to support me, send me a few bucks on PayPal. I would really appreciate it. Alright, so without any further ado, let's start your reading. I'm going to be doing my 139 read with Anime Tarot as the core energy, supported by the Traditional Tarot for clarifiers and for secondary clarification. So give me a sec here and let me find a clarifying energy for you. If I could please get a clear energy for Cancer. That one wanted to come out for you. If I could please one clear core energy for this reading. It's taking a second here. This hasn't been taking this long on some of the other reads. Give me a sec, I'm going to do a shuffle. And don't you worry, there are tarot readers that have over 100,000 subscribers, and they are completely silent while they draw their cards out. That can take as long as a minute sometimes, if not longer. So, it is not actually that big of a deal, apparently, to be silent as I draw these cards out for you. Plenty of other tarot readers still have success, even whilst doing that, so not going to be too worried about it at this point. So this is wanting to come out for you. Alright, clarifying energy for the reading, core energy, the Tower. Wow. So you got the Tower coming out. Definitely a sign of change. A sign of something that wasn't serving you as much as you might have thought. Leaving your experience. That way you can move on to something better. Sort of the ideal here is that there is some kind of stagnation that you've built up around yourself. And this card signifies the universe tearing it down so you can find something better. It can be a very intimidating card because it is about your complacency being destroyed for your own good. And that can be uncomfortable in its own right, which is why this card is very intimidating. In the upright, though, the idea is that there is something better that you weren't able to see because you were stuck in this tower, which is why the universe is bringing it down. It is for you, even if you cannot see it. So, let's move on to some clarifiers here then. Why did Cancer get the Tower card for this reading? Okay, so we've got these two. So to start off with, you've got, okay, Two of Pentacles in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Usually your water energy is very good at supporting these earth energies, but in the reverse, they are not serving you for some reason. Definitely a sign that you're lacking some kind of balance. You are, whatever you're trapped in, whatever tower you're trapped in, it also fed to some complacency in you. And that complacency kept you out of balance to grow properly. You needed to find some kind of, I hate to use the word balance again, but that's as clear as this card gets. there's something lacking in your process. You have plenty of one element that you need to move forward, but you're severely lacking in the other one. And that is making it impossible to move forward, even though you are very good at maybe one thing, but you need to be good at two things to make the progress you seek. So it doesn't matter if you get extremely good at the first part if you completely neglect the second part. So this, to a certain extent, this isn't a card of neglect. It's a card of neglecting something that you need to grow properly. Following that up, the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. That's another very destabilizing card. So I don't know if this complacency is people around you. I don't know if this complacency is material success of some kind that has stagnated you. But the idea here is that the Tower is coming down to bust you out of this lack of balance and to kind of bust you out of this complacent stability that you found yourself in, so you can grow beyond this, which is sort of what the universe requires of you. It's what the universe sort of designed us for, which can be very disappointing sometimes if you're comfortable in your life. So let's continue. Okay, so this one came right out. So the final clarifier for this is the Judgment card. This is all about the, once again, sort of to what I was alluding to. The universe is trying to, unfortunately, the universe is casting its own judgment here on the situation. And your higher power is deeming that your complacency is no longer going to serve you. And it might not be fun going through this tower, but the universe, unfortunately, is going to be doing what it must, and it is going to do what it needs to do for you. And I'm kind of at a lack of words here because I don't want it to sound like super negative. I don't want it to sound lacking necessarily, but whatever this is for you, you're a little powerless to stop it from happening. And there's not even signs here that you're resisting the change. If the Tower was in reverse, that would be a good sign that you're resisting it. So there's a good sign here that you understand what is going on here. And you can see from this outside perspective of this reading that it might be good for you that this Tower happens. It is for your own good. It's to bust you out of this complacency and this stagnation, even if you're really comfortable. And I'm trying to get some better words for this judgment. Whoops, for this Judgment card. I'm kind of floundering on it, to be completely honest with you. It's simply a sign that the universe is insisting that this happen like this. And it is going to have its way no matter what you think about it. Even though it's having its way with your experience. So, more or less, it's just a very stout warning here to buckle your seatbelt. Alrighty. Let's see what kind of clarifiers we can get. Secondary clarifiers, because this might shift into a much different direction once we get some of these. So, Two of Pentacles in reverse. The first clarifier is, ooh, the World's in reverse. A lack of balance again. Because you're lacking this balance, you aren't able to come to the end of the cycle. More specifically, because you're lacking this balance, you aren't able to proceed to an achievement you desire. You're not able to gather the proper elements necessary to actually achieve whatever this desire is, whatever this goal is. Usually it's some kind of growth, some kind of spiritual growth. Growth in yourself, growth for your experience, the World in Reverse matches that extremely well. It's just more confirmation that you're stuck. You're stuck missing the ability to move forward. So let's see what the secondary clarifier is. The Six of Swords, reverse. Failing to move forward. For some reason, you are super stuck here. And that's what the Tower is for. The Tower is to bust you out of this complacency. And that is disappointing. Because it's not as if you're resisting this change. So it's like you're open to this. You're open to this change. You're open, maybe not to how the change will take place, but you're open to the result, which is, you know, a greater you, a stronger you, a better you. It's just disappointing that despite that being your will, you find yourself stuck. I can kind of sympathize with that energy. I feel like for all the effort I've put into to grow and become better, I feel stuck in a lot of ways as well. So I can definitely sympathize with this. I'm happy to see that your tower is in the upright, because that's a good sign that you're not going to resist this. And I'm happy to see that the judgment is in the upright, because that's a good sign that it's all going to come to fruition properly. And that you're going to be able to bust out of the stagnation. So, very interesting. Let's see, one more clarifier, please, for the Two of Pentacles in reverse, please. One more clarifier for Two of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so final Two of Pentacles clarifier, we have the Ace of Cups in reverse. Wow. Your water energy, but in the reverse, disappointing. Disappointing emotions. The emotion of disappointment. The emergence of disappointing feeling. That is how you feel being stuck in this tower. It's not how you feel when the tower falls. It's actually how you feel in your complacency. So this is giving me the sign that being stuck like this doesn't even feel good. So it's actually giving me the idea that you're not actually in comfort. If you're in comfort, it's a very bizarre sort of stagnation. Like you're stagnant, comfortably stagnant, but that doesn't even feel good. It's not like you're just riding high on life, super comfortable, with no need to grow. It's that you're like, your stagnation has actually settled in as a negative feeling in your experience. And that's part of why you probably don't want to resist this tower. You're like, bring it on, I want to feel better. So, not bad. Not bad to see. There's not the worst connotation to see the Ace of Cups. Feeling like this isn't great, but what this is signifying is that that's why the tower is emerging for you, is to feel better than that. So very interesting. Let's see, let's move on to the, okay, so Ten of Pentacles reversed, first clarifier. Wow, the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Geez, so water to earth, those stabilize each other, so wow. To a certain extent there is a feedback loop here. Not only are you stuck feeling bad, but you are also stuck being disappointed in your material stability. Your stagnation is actually, man, this is such an interesting reading for me personally, because I can actually sympathize with this reading quite a bit. I can sympathize with being stuck in this situation like this, sort of being stagnant like this. And I can sympathize with it not feeling great, and I can sympathize with failing to manifest material stability, material desire. That's exactly what Ace of Pentacles reverse is. It's that material, it's that desire for material stability not manifesting. And it's about the disappointment in not receiving that material abundance, that material stability. And following up, the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So you've got Ten of Pentacles reversed, and you have the Ace of Pentacles reversed. That's a lot of failure of material stability. A lot of failure to, and it's another good sign that you're not like in some kind of complacency, some kind of comfort complacency. You're actually just don't have the material stability. So let's move on. Let's look for a second clarifier for a Ten of Pentacles in reverse, please. What else can we get for a Ten of Pentacles in reverse, please? Okay, so following this up, we've got the Strength card. A little out of place here, I'd say. I'm going to search for another clarifier, but it's essentially part of turning this around. Whoops, there's too many. Let's get one clear clarifier, please. For final clarifier for Ten of Pentacles in reverse. It's a little stuck here. So having the internal courage to see why this is happening is more or less what this is coming down to. The Strength card is about your internal quality, your spiritual heart, your courage to embrace your own internal strength, which sometimes you might feel like you're doing that, but you might not be doing it as wholesomely as you think you are. This also could get flipped on its head in a sense, in that maybe you are embracing your internal strength, but because of the situation you're in, it's not yielding the desires you want. So it's not about your internal strength. Your internal strength could be intact, but there's ulterior factors that are the true culprit of why this isn't working out the way you really want it to. Which is sort of why the universe is going to deal you a tower moment to shake up that part of the problem. That way your internal strength can emerge and your internal strength can shine forth. Which is more optimistic than just saying that you don't have your internal strength and it's calling you to your internal strength. So that's going to come down to your own resonance on which one that is for you. So let's get another clarifier though and see what's up. If you embrace your internal strength, you would be able to make this Six of Swords path forward. So I'm a little miffed on that one. A little miffed. Off the top of my head, what I'm thinking is that maybe that's part of the problem here, is that you're imbalanced on the fact that you have your internal fortitude, but you're missing a different piece of the puzzle. Very interesting. Once again, this is very heavy. There's very heavy resonance in this reading to myself. Whoa, wow! And as soon as I say that, we get the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Which I'm a Capricorn, very dense Capricorn. I've got Capricorn is my main sign, and then I've got a bunch of Capricorn planets. So, and then also very coincidentally on the bottom of the deck is the Chariot, which is Cancer's card. So here's where the imbalance seems to be. You have your internal strength, and you have your internal fortitude, but for some reason, it's not translating into external confidence. And because you don't have that external confidence, you aren't managing to make the material progress that you need. And that's very disappointing because, once again, it resonates with me, which is the only reason I'm bringing myself into this, is because I can sympathize. I can severely sympathize with this reading. And, you know, I've tried to, I believe that I have my own internal forms of courage, but there's times where I get the Knight of Pentacles in reverse representing myself. And essentially what that is suggesting is that there is stagnation. And if we're looking at the quality of the Strength card and the quality of the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, that is an imbalance. It's an imbalance of your inner fortitude actually translating into effect in the real world for you. Material effect. And you're missing it in your material abundance. And every time that happens to you, it can be very disappointing because it's got you trapped in this cycle here. So that would lead me to believe then that the source of your imbalance, or the solution to whatever your imbalance is not more internal courage. It's not more internal fortitude. You seem to have that. you've got to translate it somehow into external results. And you've got to translate it into external courage and external progress. And that's exactly the same situation I'm in. I've got the internal stuff down pretty good, but I'm lacking all of the external things that would produce the actual material stability that I desire. So, very interesting for that to come out there. Very synergistic with myself. So I don't know who you are, if this is getting through to anybody, but just know that I'm here for you, because I can freaking sympathize with this energy big time. And honestly, I'm getting very close to going through my own tower moment right now. I'm getting very close to my mom making me move out, basically. And despite all the stuff I've tried to do to achieve my material stability, I haven't been able to. And even though I've got a lot of internal strength and courage, I'm in this Knight of Pentacles reverse position where I'm stagnant materially speaking. And I haven't been able to produce any material results that are enough to keep this tower from happening. So I'm in the middle of a dilemma right now myself, where I'm about to go through a tower, one way or the other. There's a couple different ways it could go down, but that tower moment, even though it doesn't seem like it on a logical level, spiritually speaking, it allows the universe to bust us out of our stagnation, which is exactly what the Knight of Pentacles in reverse is. It's essentially known as the slowest knight of the entire tarot. It's known as like the most stagnant. It's one of the most stagnant, if not the most stagnant, court card in the entire tarot. So severe stagnancy, severe instability from Ten of Pentacles reversed, and Two of Pentacles reverse, stagnance from an imbalance. And that's why the universe is coming in here to tower you out of this stagnance. So, very powerful. And then once again, you've even got your Chariot card on the bottom of the deck, which is pretty cool. So let's see if the Chariot comes out for you after Judgment. It would make sense that it would. Okay, so these two want to come out. So we've got Temperance in reverse and Two of Wands. That's a little strange. I was hoping for something a little better than that. Temperance. Dang, so that's really tough. That's a really tough pill to swallow. Sagittarius energy. More or less, that is suggesting that there's a lot more stagnation here due to the fact that the complacency is denying a growth in your quality. Temperance in reverse is about not removing negative elements from your quality. It's about not removing the weaker parts of yourself. Temperance in the upright is all about embracing your strength, and more specifically, removing your weakness from the presence of your strength, so your strength can reign supreme without any weakness holding you back. Flipped around in the reverse, it's the complete opposite. You're holding on to that weakness, and it's befuddling your strength. And it's another match here to this imbalance. And it's another match to this stagnancy of the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And following the Judgment card, though, very strange. It's a very, very strange interval. The way I'm seeing it here is that it might be something that you're having trouble seeing. You might be having trouble understanding that these things are your weaknesses. But the Judgment is in the upright, which usually means that your judgment is sound, or that your judgment is proper. But with Temperance in reverse following that, that doesn't seem to strike me as what judgment means. Instead, it's simply a message that's part of why this is happening. The reason the universe, the reason the higher power is casting its judgment upon you is because you haven't managed to apply your own judgment properly enough to shed your weakness and to cultivate your external power. Because once again, your internal power is intact. You have some internal confidence, you have some internal fortitude, but it's not translating outside of you. And it's causing an imbalance and a stagnation. So it's one of the heaviest pills to swallow in the major arcana, in my opinion, is reverse temperance. Especially if your whole goal is to achieve these things, because if you're of that quality, usually that means that you're wary to your weaknesses. So what's the deal here if you're missing something? Because, you know, like if I was to apply this to myself again, I try my best to see my weakness so I can shed it. That way I can embrace my power. That way I can move forward with my experience into the stability I want. But what does that mean then if I'm actually still blind to my weakness? How is it that my judgment is so off in that regard? How could that be the case? And unfortunately, that's part of what's being said here, is that something has got you anchored down a little bit. But that's exactly what this tower is for. The tower is for shedding that weakness. It's for shedding the part of the weakness that you're not managing to see. So, very interesting. Very interesting, very tough, and I can sympathize with what this might feel like for you. I can sympathize with where you're at in this whole thing. Very, very synergistic with myself. I cannot deny it. If I didn't know any better, I'd dare say I'm reading for myself. I really would. But maybe there's something I can take away from this myself. I'm seeing a lot of this coming for myself, so maybe there's something that you can get from this. Alright, so enough on that. Following the Temperance card, we got the Two of Wands. That's better. That's a good sign that at the tail end of this tower, once this tower has completed, you're actually going to find yourself in a good place to, I guess I could say make your own decisions, but instead of saying that, what I would prefer to say is you're going to feel like you have your own power under control. You're going to be able to feel like you can point yourself in your own direction. And you're going to be able to feel like you have complete control over your own outlook. And that's very empowering. Because if the source of that power is your internal strength, then you've got that. And you're going to be able to apply that differently once this tower has taken its toll on you. And that speaks to your judgment. And it speaks to your ability to point your own life. And it sort of speaks to the enthusiasm of being able to sort of launch your own experience and launch your own process from an entirely new base of stability. The stability that you always have really been looking for. So that's a very cool card. Even though it's such a low number in the suit. For this reading in particular, it is definitely a very cool sign. It's a very cool sign. So let's wrap up this reading then and get the final clarifier. Great Goddess, if we could, okay. So sometimes all you have to do is ask. So the final card for this reading is going to be the Moon in reverse. Wow. Shedding of illusion. Casting off of weakness, more or less. Illusions that cause you weakness. Illusions that hold you back. False judgment being shed. The shedding of corruptive I've already said it a few times, but illusions. Being able to get over being stuck in the same patterns that hold you down. Finally being able to be free of why ever you can't shed your weakness. Finally being free of that weakness itself. Because for some reason there's an illusion mixed into this energy that is interfering with your ability to embrace your strongest self. And it's deterring you at so many steps and in so many ways. Earth, water, air. Fire. And at the core of it all, your internal strength that wants to come out. And not just because you want it to come out, but because the universe wants it to come out. And the universe is there for you to help to shed whatever this illusion is. That's what this tower is going to be for. That's what this shakeup in your experience is going to be all about. It's about removing this illusion that keeps you weak, despite all of this strength inside of you. And once you can let that strength out, once you can finally let your heart of hearts shine, you'll be able to attain the stability that you have always dreamed of. And you'll be able to bust through the stagnancy and the complacency. That you've always been trying to get out of. So, very interesting, Cancer. Very, very, very interesting. I don't know why we wind up in these situations, but this reading is a sign that the universe is there for us. And that the universe can work in mysterious ways for our well-being, for our greater self. And it's a good sign that the universe can see what's inside of us when nobody else can. That when everything else in life only sees the material results, thank God there is a higher power that can see the greatest part of us and that wants to see that come to fruition. and that can shed these illusions that hold us down in these types of experiences. So, I think that's going to be it. This has been a wonderful reading. I'm sorry that this tower has to happen. I'm not looking forward to my own tower. It's never what I think it should have to be for all the effort I've put in. If it can be this helpful, embracing the tower is, of course, an endearing quality. And this isn't showing as if you're going to be resisting it because it's in the upright. One way or the other. This is going to emerge your greatest self. And I'm so glad to hear it, because I know what seeking that feels like. I know what desiring that feels like. I know what it means to not give up on that greatest self. And I know what it feels like to be asked to give up on it. And not giving up on it, having that strength, is something that the universe loves. And it's probably something that the world could use a lot more of. So it's about damn time, Cancer. It's about damn time. Alright. I think that's going to be it for this reading. Thank you very much for being here. Take care. And good luck.